Hello everyone, this is Bigalski.
And JTB.
And today we have another special guest on the NG Talk series. This is Farnham The Drunk. And we are super dedicated to get this done. We've had a little technical issues, but Farnham will start hitting play on his end now.
All right.
And then take it away, Farnham. Introduce yourself, tell us what you're doing here, and we'll just go from there.
What up, everybody? This is Farnham The Drunk. I am a challenge runner for mostly NGB and NG2. And I don't do many other games, but this is probably the main game I play. And maybe some other retro stuff, but yeah. That's like my passion is Ninja Gaiden.
Which did you like better? Or I know you decided to make Ninja Gaiden 2 for this clip. And what he's doing, by the way, everyone, is he's going through Master Ninja on Ninja Gaiden 2, just the whole first chapter. So that's kind of the background of what's happening here. But why did you decide this versus something else?
Well, first of all, I thought since your channel is mainly focused on Ninja Gaiden Black, I thought there should be some Ninja Gaiden 2 love. So I decided on sending you a video of my Ninja Gaiden 2 gameplay. And
nice.
Furthermore, this is not only the first chapter in one go. It is I don't save at all. And I don't die at all. Like, this is in one go, single segment, chapter 1.
Ah, nice.
Oh, nice.
That's not easy for anyone that's
it
familiar.
is
I think
not.
they know. Yeah, it's like this is probably like chapters 1 and 2, like single segment, probably the hardest section of the game. I would say, like they are so brutal, like early on.
Yeah, you lack so much stuff that the game really punishes you hard for every mistake you do.
I'll never forget the first time playing it and just clearing the first fight, just to get to Muramasa. The best rage quit ever is the guy from Rooster Teeth. Mike, I think is what his name. He's like, what the hell is even happening here? And,
I think I know that one.
Yeah, and that's only on Mentor too. That's what makes it.
Oh,
That's what makes it. Yeah, it's only on Mentor. Yeah. It's not actually Master Ninja.
Yeah, it's pretty rough that Mentor starts you with the 5 Eyes Ninja just like Master, and then it gets a little bit easier because of Tech Ninja. But it starts you off like, oh, you're in for a for a difficult chapter.
Yeah.
I really think that they decided after, Itagaki or something said, only a few people are going to be able to get past Master Ninja and on Ninja Gaiden Black. And then not only did people get past it, they were doing no-hurt runs and things like that. And they felt like, whoever took over this series said, oh, yeah, well, we're going to give them something that, see if they can no-hurt that. And, of course, it took a while, but that's been done, too. It's still kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know if anyone's done Razor's Edge no damage, just out of curiosity?
No, there is no damage run of NG3 Razor's Edge. There is one on New Game Plus up to chapter 5 or 6, I think. But that's it. Like, there doesn't exist a no damage run of NG3.
That could be TGD's next project.
I don't think he would do it even for money.
I don't
did he not like that game? Yeah, I know he did play it. But...
I mean, he played the first chapter. That's it. That's how much he went.
Oh wow, okay. And that was Razor's Edge, not Vanilla 3.
Yeah, and it was Razor's Edge. Oh god, yeah, he didn't play Vanilla. Like, he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Yeah, I mean, because I know Razor's Edge is one of those, like, that's one of the main things that makes me, so intrigued to play that, is because it's, there's, like, no middle ground. No, I've still not played Razor's Edge.
Oh, you should. You definitely
I haven't either.
There's no middle ground with that game. People either, like, it's total garbage, or the other end of that is people are like, oh no, it's actually really good. Like, it's definitely worth playing.
It both are true in my opinion. It depends really where you're coming from. Like, I always tell people, like, the best way to describe NG3 is it's probably one of the best action games in existence, but it's a really shitty Ninja Gaiden game.
Well, there you go.
I think that's the best way to describe it, because it doesn't play at all like Ninja Gaiden, but it is an amazing action game by itself. So I think if you're coming from the older days where you were waiting for that game as a sequel to your favorite franchise, then you are going to be very disappointed. But if you never played NG before and this is the first thing you play, then you're probably gonna love it.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I think like vanilla NG3 is just a terrible game.
Oh yeah, the vanilla NG3, it's just garbage.
Yeah.
It's just garbage. It's way too easy. Like, I beat every difficulty in one day, and I just rented it. Like, it's really garbage. Like, it's worth playing just to make fun of it, but it's really garbage.
Well, so you're saying it's garbage?
Yeah, Vanilla 3 is.
Vanilla 3,
about Original 3 is they were kind of so quick to try and stem the blood flow of that game, because I think this was in a stream a few months ago, but a couple of people were mentioning that there was stuff in it like the scythe and that, and I pointed out, I was like, that wasn't in Original 3. Like Vanilla 3 was just Dragon Sword only.
It was DLC actually.
Yeah, it was DLC. Yeah, it's and then they did. I think they put the Talons in it eventually. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Some weapons were DLC and some didn't exist that are in Razor's Edge.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That sounds right. But yeah,
like I think
original
the
3,
Lunar was added in Razor's Edge and didn't exist before. But don't quote me on that. Like, I think 1 or 2 weapons were added into Razor's Edge, and the rest were DLC for vanilla.
Yeah, that sounds right, because I remember, like, even at the end of it, like Razor's Edge still had a lot more in it compared to even 3, like after they'd finished.
Oh yes, it's day, like Razor's Edge and Vanilla 3 is day and night. Like they really I mean, they knew they were making a shit game because they announced Razor's Edge before Vanilla 3 released. So they knew they were making some hot garbage.
Well, to get back to this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about this game. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk. That was such a lifesaver move there. What is that? XXY what is it? XXYB then
you mean the Shuriken cancel?
Yeah. To do that combo, to lop off their head. I mean, when people learn that combo, it really helped out. Isn't that the combo that you're using sometimes on the single ninjas?
Yes, it is. It's called Shuriken stun, Shuriken cancel, and basically what you're doing is canceling the animation with the Shuriken throw, which has multiple benefits. Not only do you get out of your animation faster, but you stun the enemy you just delimbed, and you also keep him in range so he doesn't stumble back, and so you can OT him on the spot. It's probably the most powerful move you have at the start, and everybody should use it.
Yeah, I think like at level 1, I'd probably say the Dragon Sword. I don't know if you'd agree, but I'd say the Dragon Sword at level 1's probably the best weapon, like overall, and like a large part of that is because of that OT sequence you can do.
Exactly.
I do love the anime. You know when you cut their leg off and they just fall down like that? It just looks so good.
They got like some brutal OTs, man. Whoever thought of these? To do that. I love the flail OT where it kind of lops off their head, then their knees or something like that. It's like, oh my god.
So this sequence is actually a good thing to kind of talk about a little bit of history on NG2, like how well like you're dealing with the ISs here. Like this, I think, is like the biggest hurdle to a lot of people's enjoyment in this game. Is that
definitely
the IS ninjas, and it's funny, contrast that with Sigma, with the Master Collection having come out. Sigma is a lot more forgiving, like NGB in general, just because of the way health works, whereas in NG2, when you fight these enemies in like chapters 1 and 2, these IS ninjas, you kind of have to play by their rules. You cannot just kind of ignore what they're doing and like, just like jump around and try and flying swallow, because if you do that, you like one incendiary explosion into a wall, into a grab, you're dead. Like if you disrespect them once, they will kill you. Whereas in NGB and Sigma, especially with Sigma, because you've got the on-the-fly item use, it's a lot easier to, in a way, kind of like mash a little bit more and get through it. Whereas on 2, that's just not happening. You haven't really, I don't think you've actually had a clean hit here. And like, look at your health. You're at like a 3rd life bar.
Yeah, it was all explosive damage, definitely.
Yeah.
At least they thought about ways. There's that combo we were talking about right there. But at least they thought of ways to get out of that. It's like, okay, well, if you do UTs or OTs or guillotine throws, that'll cancel out that exploding animation. So it was cool that while they put a ton of crap in there to hurt you, they also put ways to get out of that hurt.
Yes, I also feel like it is really well thought out. It is just a little bit unfinished in my opinion, but we all know why.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with this game, too, because one of the biggest, I think, shocks a lot of people had, like, coming from NGB and Sigma, was in NGB and Sigma, when you're doing moves like a UT, or a guillotine throw, or an Izuna drop, the ninjas, like, they cannot actually land incendiaries into you, whereas in NG2, you can come out of an Izuna drop with, like, quite literally, like, 9 incendiaries in you, and you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, I feel like that's on purpose.
Yeah,
because you would be way too overpowered again if you could like do all of that without having IS stuck in you. I think even when you come out of a UT, especially, which is also where the counter system shines the most. I feel like NG2's counter system works very differently from NGB's counter system, because in NGB you can basically stand there and wait for enemies to counter. It doesn't work like that here, because you will just get grabbed. Yeah, and the grabs have no telegraph. Like, you will just get grabbed instantly. So the best moment to counter in NG2 is exactly after those iframes, like after a UT, after a OT, when you see an enemy is already hitting you while you're doing the OT, and then you just go for a counter. Like, that's the best way to implement counters in this game.
Yeah.
When I know you said earlier that my channel didn't show a lot of NG2. You know, when I first started, or when I had my other channel, I did have some NG2 videos up there. And, you know, unfortunately, those were lost whenever I closed it down. But I'll be the first one to say that Ninja Gaiden Black, you know, kind of ruined me for some of the other games. And I don't think I gave this game
Why
probably...
is that?
I just think it's, compared to the other games, just perfect, well balanced. Maybe some of the time limits are a little too long or something. I don't know. I'm also maybe being a little, you know, older than most players. I mean, it's funny when I hear people talk about their age now. It's like, you know, back then I was, you know, 21 years old, and now it's so different. And I'm like, well, the age that you are now is when I started playing Ninja Gaiden Black. So, you know, imagine it now. But like I said, it just seemed kind of cheap and unfair to it, that you can get grabbed out of, like, you're doing a Zuna drop and the mages could grab you or something, and it's just like, man, how can you get out of that? There's a difference between being hard and the not being fair, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with everything you said, actually.
Oh, wow. So I just, like I said, I played it, and you know, I think I scored, like, you know, beat it on Master Ninja, got all of my achievements, you know, the 1250, and, you know, just kind of put it away. I didn't explore it like, you know, I've done with Ninja Gaiden Black, for sure. You know, it just grabs me. You know, when I watch all this stuff, and like I said, just seeing all the explosions, and now knowing how I am now, you know, it's I'm slower than what I used to be, and you know, it probably make me a little nervous. So all you're doing there when you're going to the save statue is just healing. That's not saving.
I am just healing. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
You can tell by the button prompt on the bottom right, when you have autosave enabled, it says save and heal, and if you have it disabled, it just says heal, and you have to save manually after that. So you can tell by that I'm just healing and not saving.
Right.
And I usually don't play with the karma window open. I really, and I know
I was going to ask that.
Wants to strangle me right now, but I really hate that thing, and it just clogs up too much of the screen, in my opinion. And I love the bloody hit counter. It just, as a stylized visual feedback, I like it much more. And you don't really need the karma window in NG2. It's like pointless.
Yeah, right. It's kind of a shame because of the time limit stuff. Like, the only thing it does give you,
and the enemy count is missing. Like, there's no point in having that open.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Like, the only thing it really does give you is in Tests of Valors. Like, you can track your enemies, like, a lot more easily. But the problem with the Tests of Valor is that in some of them, if you go like too long or too far away, like from an enemy without killing them, it zeroes out anyway.
Yes, when it heals your health, it zeroes out.
Yeah, so it's a real shame that that's not there, because for some of those tests of valors, like the longer ones, when you've got like 50 dinos to kill,
yes,
it's nice knowing that you've only got like 10 left or 15 left.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like you're in purgatory when you're killing dinos and you have no idea how many there are left.
Yeah.
Oh man, you want to just kill yourself.
Yeah, and that's one thing about NG2. We talked about it briefly, and I've talked about this before in the past. But like, you know, in general, like the community wasn't, you know, for anyone that like doesn't want people to know, sorry, but in general, like the community wasn't very like warm to this game when it first hit, because it plays like all the legacy skill is there, like your movement and your decision making, but mechanically and kind of fundamentally, the game is so different to Black and Sigma that. Yeah, I think a lot of the people that were like really like hip deep in Black and Sigma, they tried to play this game, and I did it myself. You know, I tried to play it like NGB.
Yeah, you cannot do that.
Yeah, I was getting annoyed that it wasn't working, and it was really survival mode that kind of forced me to like, okay, this is different. You know, you need to play differently here. And in Survival, if anyone's not played Survival, it's DLC, but Survival mode is, I think, like the shining like jewel in this game, because while the main game is still great, Survival mode is just absolutely savage. Like, the enemy combinations that you get in Survival compared to Story mode are just... Not only are they nuts, like having like red werewolves, like mech Vangelfs, and like IS ninjas all at the same time.
I agree. The enemy combinations are so much better than in story mode, and I really wish that in story mode the enemy combinations, even combinations at all, because most of the time you're just finding one enemy type. I think where the game shines the most with enemy combinations is in Chapter 11, when you really have Purple Eyes Ninja, yellow, I don't know if it's yellow, but we just call them Yellow Ninja, and the Fiend Mages all at once. And you're thinking like, holy Jesus, how am I gonna do this? But you can.
Yeah, I mean, and just on that note, there's one wave in, I think it's format B, in survival mode. You get Red Gargers and Fiend Mages at the same time.
It's so evil.
Which is just horrible. That's such a horrible combo. But yeah, like that was definitely the thing that made me kind of learn this game properly, because I can't remember who said it exactly, but I think it was Rame, like way back on the forums, but he summarized NG2 so perfectly in that as long as you die slower than the enemies, everything will be fine.
That's really brilliant. And I think it's exactly true.
Yeah. To someone that's oh god, look at that grab there.
I was lucky.
Yeah. But I think to anyone who's not played the game, they might think that sounds stupid, and you think just play it and you'll understand. Play the game and you'll get it immediately. It's such a savage game on its high difficulties, and I feel like in I don't know if you'll agree, because you've played NG2 a lot more than like most people. My criticism of NG2 is mainly that I think the lower difficulties, even like on your first playthrough, are just far too easy.
They are easy.
Like Warrior and Acolyte are just
normal on NG2 is way easier than normal in NGB. Like way easier.
Like you can kind of just mash on the lower modes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like on an Acolyte and Warrior, you can just tank the game basically.
Yeah.
But as soon as you switch into Mentor, you will get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like it forces you to learn the game better.
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting because everybody always talked about that big difference between hard and very hard on Ninja Gaiden Black. But, you know, again, I think this jump is even bigger between, Warriors. It's Acolyte, Warrior, Mentor, Master Ninja, right?
Exactly.
It's been a while since I played this.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to offend you for not playing it. You know, it's like, why am I doing this stream with this guy who doesn't even play the game? But, you know, it's I'm glad you brought it up here. But, yeah, that difference between Warrior and Mentor is just brutal, way more brutal than from like hard to very hard in Ninja Gaiden Black. Now, how long have you been kind of in the NG scene? You know, like JTB and I have been around for a little bit.
just
a little bit. Yeah. But when did you decide to get into it and start I mean, was this your first game in the series, or?
No, I really played NG like from release day, like both NG 04, NGB, NG2. Like I played all of them like from day one. And but I never was like I would say active in the community. I just played for myself and watched videos, but I never like talked myself or tried to make content myself. I just played for fun, and I remember like when I first found Godfather's Twitch channel. Like the first day I was in there, he was doing a karma run. Like, I think he was farming Jotunfrau in mission mode with the chunks, and I didn't know what karma running is. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, what is this? Why don't you just kill the guy?" And he was all like explanative. He was like all friendly and shit. And then somehow we started talking about NG2 because I really love this game. Like it's a very messy, unfinished, glitchy mess of a game, but I love it. And we were talking about it, and there was I don't know if you guys know Seraphim17. He was also in the stream.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we were talking, and he was all like, "Yeah, you can only play this game by using UTs and Ninpo and just spamming them." And I was like, "No, dude, you're so wrong. Like that's not true at all." And he immediately we started like beefing each other, like like really hard. Like he calling me a scrub, and I just going, "Fuck you, man!" Like that. And somehow we were all like, "You know what? If you know you can do it, just put up a video and show us all that it's possible, and then we will all shut up." And that's what I did. So I just recorded it, and I did the first 2 chapters, like no Ninpo, no UT, and no items at all.
Nice.
And that's when basically everybody said, "All right, like it's true." And Seraphim even apologized, and I have so much respect for that guy for that, because not everybody does that. Like
most people, when they're proven wrong, they they don't say anything.
Yes, and I really appreciated it, because I was new to Twitch. I had no idea what I was doing. Like going into a stream and like big talking, you don't do that shit. But I didn't know, you know. So
well, there's a way. There's a way to do it.
Yeah, there's I was like, you guys know nothing. I didn't know who TGD was. Like he was just a guy playing Ninja Gaiden for me. Yeah. So we started off a little bit rough, but we all love each other now. So I think that was the moment where I started recording my gameplay for the first time, and later I just TGD made his no damage run on the game. And I was there to, because basically, and many people don't believe this, but it was his first time playing this game on Master Ninja. He never played it before, so he didn't know a lot of things, and I enjoyed his content a lot. So I was there, like giving him the little bit of help that he needed in terms of knowledge about the game. And I think he inspired me the most to do challenge runs, because I didn't do that stuff before. So I think that whole encounter made me do all of this that I do, and do so many challenges that I've done till today.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, and especially I'd say the no UT run was like the first run that people talked about, you know, as a challenge run, because like back when the game was brand new, you know, people were just kind of, you know, playing like mad cheap, like skipping all the tests of valors, and that was one of the earliest handicap runs. Was like, you know, like, is it even possible no UT Master Ninja? Because, you know, and that's what funny enough, that's what made me really look into the OT system and de-limbing, because back, like when you first play the game, it's one of those you don't really notice it until you really pay attention. But, like, certain moves have like much higher likelihood to de-limb, you know, with different weapons, and it can depend on what level some of the weapons are, and that
as
stuff,
well as the enemies sometimes.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just something that I think the more you notice that stuff, you tend to realize, like, oh, okay, you know, when you get to that level, And this kind of factors into playing survival, and it's one of the key ingredients in survival mode. If you just do nothing but UTs in survival, you're going to die relatively quick because you're basically guaranteeing no blue orbs.
Yeah.
So, like, you need to know how to, like,
Exactly.
quickly kill an enemy, but kill him normally, so, like, you might get a blue. So it's just, it's one of those things where I feel like this game, in a way, is, like, it's its own worst enemy, in that it's so unbelievably savage that, like, out of 100 people that play it, probably 99 are going to think, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, the one person might be like, okay, I'm going to stick with this game.
It is a game that has such a high learning curve that many people like, and it's not only that with NG2, it's like that with many difficult games that have a high learning curve, that sometimes you mistake the lack of knowledge with unfairness. And you say, oh, that is so unfair. But what really is happening is you lacking the knowledge to know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And I agree, NG2 can be very unfair, and it is designed like that. But most of the things that people think are unfair are just a lack of knowledge or practice or both.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't put a lot of time in it, to be honest with you. Like I said, I completed it, and I don't know, it just didn't... NGB was just so good for me, and I maybe because I was so used to it also. You know, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't play very many games back then. You know, I started out with Halo, and I thought that was the greatest game ever. And then it's like, man, if all games are like this...
Halo's
and then
pretty
Ninja
great.
Gaiden, you know, Ninja Gaiden, I didn't like it at first and actually got rid of it in 2004. It wasn't until NGB came and, you know, I really loved it. But, you know, I played that a lot and didn't have the experience with a lot of the other games that most people did. So when Ninja Gaiden 2 came out, it's, you know, I didn't want to maybe take the time. It's like, well, I already know Ninja Gaiden Black, so this should play like that. So I'm one of the examples of not giving it a fair shake and putting the time in, needing, you know, to do that. And you know, there was a few things that I didn't like. No time limits, I didn't like that. I didn't like you could just mash X or Y with the dragon sword and do a lot of, you know, combos. Same thing with the lunar, you know, what is it, Y does the spinning to where you can launch him or whatever it is.
Yep.
You know, versus having you had to do the forward XX to get that move. So instead of just pushing a button, you had to kind of do two things at once. And then you throw in the explosions, and then you throw in the grabs after you get out of an Azuna drop. And
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Like, I know a lot of people that absolutely hated this on release, and they said, this is not like NGB. And, like, yes, absolutely right. But I don't know why, but for me, it was perfection. Like, I played NG04 and NGP like religiously before this came out. I was waiting for this game so much, and I have also have to say that I live in Germany, and this game is forbidden here. You cannot buy this game in Germany. It's completely by the law forbidden to exist here, like, because it's so brutal.
You gonna, like, get yourself in trouble for showing this or something?
No, you don't get yourself in trouble for having this, but you cannot buy it possibly in Germany. There's no way, even on the when you have the Game Pass in Germany, like NG2 doesn't show up even today.
Wow.
And for me to buy the DLC, I had to set my shop to Austria. No joke.
Oh wow.
And that's what I did back then. I actually ordered the physical version from Austria to get it here. Like, I couldn't buy it in the store. Like, I was so hyped for this. And I bought it, I played it, and I loved everything about it. Like, my first thought was, oh wow, this is NGB, but better. Everything that's in NGB is better in here. And, like, not everybody thought that.
I mean, hardly anybody did, and I think it's one of the downsides, I think, of early on, because I've mentioned this before, just in, like, you know, over the conversations, but it wasn't until, like, finding like Iberians that like score was kind of a thing in the game. You know, like you know, people knew of, like, the karma window, but it wasn't really until finding that forum. I think in a way, like, it's probably a blessing that, like, you kind of did just play it for yourself, because you didn't have that kind of influence of,
yes,
oh, it's all about karma, it's all about score, because
I didn't know what
like,
that is. I mean, I knew there was a score system, but I never cared about it, so I never looked into it, and
Yeah.
so I wasn't bothered as much by that change. And I would agree that's one thing that's worse in NG2 is the scoring system. But I mean, mechanically, like, you can tell me any mechanic that's in NGB, NG2 has a better version of that mechanic. And the only difference between the two games is how you approach combat.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
mechanically, it's the better game in every way. It's just not as polished. That's the
I agree.
problem.
Yeah, I think I think I've said this before. I know, but I think in terms of just moment-to-moment combat, I don't think any game is even on NG2's level. Like, if you're talking like just action game, nothing comes even close, in my opinion. And it's funny you say about the mechanics, because have you ever played like NG2 for score, like in story mode and that?
No.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, because I've said this for years, but NG2's scoring system I actually think is way better than... I think the karma system is way better than NG2.
I did not expect you to say that.
Because in it, well, this is, I can get super nerdy here and talk about. Like
please do.
Yeah. So in NG2, I don't know if you've ever looked into like the like your instant kill and killing spree bonuses.
I have actually no idea how this works.
Yeah. So how they work is to get an instant kill, you have to have not damaged an enemy, and you have to kill him within like. So if you've not, say there's one ninja, right? And you hit him once, but then your combo like dies, you lose your combo, and then you hit him again, you won't get an instant kill on that enemy because you already hit him before you killed him. Whereas if you like, if you walk up to a ninja, and do like XXYB and get a 4-hit combo, you will then get an instant kill bonus because like you killed that enemy in the combo that you started hitting him on.
Yeah.
So. Because there is, I think there might even be a Chapter 1 Karma Run video on YouTube somewhere from Ultraviolent.
He was so good.
Yeah, I'll try and find it because that's what really made me sour that there's no time limits. Because to play this game,
that's exactly what I wanted to say. Like if the way you explain it to me, which I have had no idea, all the things you said, I didn't know they existed.
Yeah.
But the way you explain it to me, it's like I feel like the time limits would make this an incredible karma running game.
They would, yeah, because when you get into instant kill, because the main things that like stack up are instant kill, killing spree, and OTs. So the killing spree works with you need to get basically 2 kills in a row, and if you get your instant kill bonus in a row, you then start getting your instant kill, killing spree bonus on every single kill. So you'll get 6,000 points like per kill, and you'll also get you'll get the points for killing the enemy. So this fight right here, for example. That guy that you just delimbed, but he's still alive. Okay, now he's dead. I'm trying to pop out. So here's a killing spree because you killed him. Like that popped up.
Yeah.
That guy's already been hit, so that won't be an instant kill because you hit him first. That mage has been delimbed, so you get the OT bonus, but you miss out on the killing spree and instant kill bonus. So there you get both. That's what you want with every single one.
I think I understand it.
You see it racking up now. So like when you play for karma, and what you were saying about the counter system, it's so cool because you can use it. You want a weapon that's got like a super fast counter that delimbs. The flails are probably one of the best for it because you can just do the X counter.
Yeah.
So you would do like X counter, OT, like take note of your incendiaries, iframe move out of that, set up your next delim into counter, windmill shuriken UT to like decapitate, get the bonus OT on the corpse, and keep that going throughout the entire fight. And when you fight Vangelfs, it's different on Vangelfs because like they function different, just how they work in terms of like what stuns them, what doesn't stun them. Like they have no like hit stun on regular shurikens, so you can like pepper them with shurikens to keep your combo and instant kill going.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way.
Yeah, it's annoying because when people karma in an NG2, I think what people think of is like, oh, you just one hit farm everything with the Kusarigama. Which unfortunately is true.
I just wanted to say that, sadly it is the truth. Like, I think time limits would like make it so incredibly fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think even I would go for a karma run then. Like, the way you explain it, because it's so fast paced and action heavy that it would be totally different from an NGB karma run. Yeah,
it would be, and that's why it's such a shame that the karma system is so like unfinished because. I feel like, and this is coming from someone who's like probably karma run NGB more than most, but I love that system. But now I just appreciate it from a distance. Like I never want to.
Did you see that Inferno go into nothing? By the way, just
yeah. Yeah, and it's a shame that like this game I think has the better scoring system by far, but it's just they didn't finish it. It's such a tragedy, and also like the fact that you can just. I think on Master Ninja you can get like 17 one-hit Kusarigama UTs on one ninja. It's I mean, there's no contest what's going to give you the biggest score, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I think what happens is we have some extra time here, Farnham, so I know you can't see anything on your end, but I have a little end screen that goes for as long as we want.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you'll know. But, yeah, if they added the time limits in there, I definitely think people would play like y'all are talking about. But since they didn't, people are going to be like, you know what? I don't want to think about what JTB just said. I'll just jump back and do Kusarigama UTs, and I think that was what really turned me off. Adding those time limits, and we've talked about it even in Ninja Gaiden Black, I think would have made this game a lot more fun.
It would have been stressful too.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
It would have also been really stressful. But that's also why I don't know if you've played much of Mission Mode, Farnham.
Oh yeah, I played the entirety of Mission Mode.
Yeah, I don't know what your thoughts on Green Essence are, but I hate that.
I absolutely despise Green Essence. I like
hate it
that
so much.
That destroys, like, not only, like, because I'm not a Karma player, and even I hate it, because it kills drops that I want. Like, I'm going for a blue or a red, and I get a green, and I want to smash my TV.
They love to do
I don't
that.
want that green!
Yeah. They love to do that. When you're at really low health, they'll give you like 5 greens
like,
in a row.
Why are you doing this? Like, couldn't you think of, like, I would be fine with Green Essence if there was like a specific way to get it. Like, for example, kill an enemy without a UT above 20 hits and green spawns. Like, that would be fantastic.
Well, see, I thought that's what they figured it out, and that's what it was.
But it's not.
No, it's not.
Not
no.
really. Wow,
No.
I thought somebody had talked about that.
No,
Yeah, if you want to get over a 20-hit combo, and
but it's just random, sadly.
Yeah, it's just random.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
how that works is because like the combo counter for 20, like once you go above 20, you will never ever get blue or reds like off of a melee combo, whereas you will still get greens at above 20. So. Like survival for score is its own like Pandora's box. Like survival for survival, I think is so much more fun.
Yes, and it is more fun when you do it without UT. You should try that one day.
Yeah. Survival is just amazing. I could play that all day.
You play a lot of survival, and I really enjoy watching you. Like, absolutely enjoyable watching you play that.
Yeah.
I despise playing it myself. I really hate it.
Man.
It has not enough variety, in my opinion. The enemy spawns are just atrocious. It's either dogs or a million rocket guys, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
I don't know. The Van Gelf and the Van Gelf and Marionette ones is one of my worst ones in that. But yeah, as we were saying, like the Green Essence, it's a shame that is in survival because again, when everyone was like focused on score. And I've proved this on stream, like, you can get, like, 12 million in, like, 2 rounds if you just brute force it and just... Well, maybe not 2 rounds, probably, like, 2.5, 3 rounds. But, whereas, to play for, like... Okay, just survive for, like, 5 full rounds, that is so much harder to do than to get, like, 15 million or something. And
I survived, like... I mean, I didn't play survival for that long, but I only got to round 2, like, once. Ever in my life.
Yeah, and round 1 Genshin. I mean, Genshin with like 4 sets of Fiend mages.
And it's Fiend Genshin. They throw like Fiend Genshin immediately. Like, please, at least to Genshin in round 1. Come on.
Yeah.
No, it's him.
It's so savage. And when people were playing survival a lot, it was kind of funny. Like, it was a running joke, but it was true. It was like, round 1's the hardest, even though the enemies are the weakest. But round 1 Genshin is so hard to get past because
I also feel like that even in the Acolyte round in survival, the enemies have Master Ninja AI.
Yeah, they do more damage
like
too.
That to me.
Yeah, that's something I've wanted to test like outright for years, but I just never got around to it. But like, some of the amounts of damage, like when a werewolf pounce does like half your life bar on round 1, you're like, that's not Acolyte damage.
That's not Acolyte damage, exactly.
That's like Mentor at least.
Also, we are talking a lot of times about the damage system in this game.
Yeah, we have.
And I think you and I are both on the same page here that the damage system is percentage based to some extent.
Yeah, for sure.
But I only, and I don't know if you know this, but I only recently realized that the damage system also depends on what you are doing.
Yeah, I think you have mentioned that before, actually.
Because if you stand there and charge a UT, and just stand there and hold Y, or even if you just mash attack buttons without redoing the animation, you will take more damage.
Oh, okay, so that's sort of like
from a shuriken or something
yeah.
coming in at you.
From everything, especially, you can tell especially from grabs and normal hits, like just stand there and block and get grabbed, or stand there and charge a UT and get grabbed. It's insanely more damage.
Yeah. So that's sort of like a counter hit system for the enemies.
Exactly.
Like
if you are not in a defensive position and are moving or attacking, you will take a lot more damage.
That's
very really
interesting.
Cool. Yeah. I wonder if
I never realized that before, but you can test that very easily on the Grey Ninja in Chapter 1. Like their windmill attack will destroy you if you're standing there charging.
Yeah. So I'm wondering on that train of thought, like, you know, sometimes like Hey Straight Slash will decapitate ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if like certain moves that have that instant kill property, is it the same for them? Like if you stuff an enemy attack.
I feel like it is. Like, I mean, if the enemy is in the air, I think everybody knows that. He's vulnerable to specific attacks. And I feel like, but I can't prove it, I feel like if the enemy is attacking you, they're also more vulnerable to your attacks.
Yeah. That would be really cool. Yeah, that's another thing why it's always bothered me. It's a shame more people don't play this game, because it is a lot more technical. Like, I love NGB, don't get me wrong, and I love Sigma, but when you've played them enough, those games are very easy to control. They're very easy to manipulate. Whereas
for
in
you,
NG2, like,
for you, maybe, yeah, not for the rest of us.
But you understood, you understood Farnham. Sorry. Farnham, you understood the game mechanics a lot because you play this, NG2 a lot. So, I mean, I guess the same could be said. You know, the people who play Razor's Edge, probably know that mechanics too. Mm-hmm. So it all depends on how much time each person puts it in. But I'm just glad that we can get together in terms of that and talk about, because some of the stuff y'all are saying here, I had no clue. On the damage that you're talking about. I mean, again, it's been 10 or 12 years since I've played, NG2 or whatever, but
yeah.
So go ahead, continue what you were saying, JayTB.
No, I was just saying, I wish more people would play 2, because I feel like of all the games, I feel like 2 is probably the most misunderstood, like original 2, because I feel like if you go to Twitch, or like if you go to kind of, for lack of a better word, but like any sort of more mainstream channel, like the opinion of 2 is it's just IS Ninjas and it's cheap, and the only way to play that game is to just cheese it.
Yeah.
And I've seen that said about Black and Sigma too, but I think with 2 it's even more pronounced.
Yeah.
And I think whenever I see that, I just want to I do just want to go off on one in the comments, like, no, just type out a wall of text that no one will read.
Sometimes I can't hold myself and I do it and I immediately regret it.
Yeah, like, I don't bother doing that anymore, but it is such a shame, and I think it's just one of those things that, especially nowadays, I think it's become, I dare say, like, almost kind of like fashionable to say, like, oh, I love hard games, but then more often than not, when those people come across a game like this, they stop playing it very, very quickly. And that's one thing that I talked to Al about with the Master Collection. It was, I had kind of like naive, like high hopes for the Master Collection to like get a lot of people into it. Because like, this is an old school game. This is hard. This is hard not until you find the item that makes you OP. This is just hard because you need to learn it.
Yeah, that's so well said. That it's not hard because it's hard because you lack something, but you really need to learn the game. That's it. You need to learn the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen so many people on Twitch gripe and complain. I'm not going to name names, but there's 2 guys in particular that they did nothing but gripe and complain. It's like, dude, if you just understood a little bit more about them, or you try to help. I think even me and Farnham's been in a stream one time where we tried to help the guy, and the guy just would not listen to us.
I remember that stream, and the most funny thing about that story is that the guy was actually actively asking for advice.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually saying, please, if anybody knows something about this game, please help me. And I was not talking, like, that's the first time I spoke up. I was just watching, and I was like, yeah, dude, just do this combo. And he was fighting Liz, and I just told him the combo he should do to beat her. Just do that. And he never tried it once. And I was like, why am I even in here?
Yeah. Well, I think we both left. And then
we both left, exactly.
And then I went back in like 20 minutes later, and he was still fighting Liz.
I know, and he never tried it. Like, I'm not like I'm a passionate backseater. I want to say, but I learned very quickly on Twitch that you don't do that shit before you ask somebody. It's just out of respect. Some people don't want that shit. So I always like, hey, dude, you need some help maybe, or should I just shut up and let you play? And he was like actively asking, and when he was given the help, he was ignoring it, and that pissed me so off. And I left immediately, basically.
I'm the opposite now. Like, if I'm playing a new game, like when I was playing Demon Souls, the remake, I was like, no, like I want all the help. Like,
I'm like that as well. I really enjoy backseating. Like, I want the help.
Yeah, I think as well, like, that gets us to an interesting point. Like, because I know like backseating, I think is even a tag on Twitch, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and I think that's got such a bad connotation because like my last probably decade of NG stuff has been tutorial focused because this game is hard like to learn. There wasn't many, but there was a couple of comments on like the NG2 walkthrough where people were like, "Oh, this is just showing like the cheap stuff," and I thought, well, it can't be that cheap and obvious if people still can't even get past mental. Like, you know, some people don't know this, so you know this video isn't for you. Like that tutorial system isn't for like a player like Farnham. It's for someone whose first playthrough is they've got their first Master Ninja playthrough.
I would actually disagree there because I watched all of those, and even though I knew a lot of stuff, it gave me insight into a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And
okay, that's interesting.
I think tutorials, and your tutorials are fantastic, by the way, and that's also a point that I wanted to touch on because tutorials for NG2 just do not exist. They're like nobody. Like I'm probably the only person to actually make in-depth and detailed tutorials about that game, and I haven't even scratched the surface. But like so many people like that play the game for years have told me, dude, I didn't even know guard reset exists in that game, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I didn't know either. Like a year ago. And by making these tutorials, I learned shit myself that I never knew. Like, I remember when I made that Archer tutorial, like you commenting on that video about the different D-limbs making the ninja do different grabs.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
I didn't know that either. I found that out by making that tutorial.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because I saw it in my recording, and I was like, I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
So I learned myself by making those, and I think like making tutorials is a good way to get people into a game, and especially a game that, and I tell that to people that play Ninja Gaiden for the first time a lot that get angry with the game. I'm like, this is not, you're playing a game that's notorious for its difficulty. It's one of the most difficult action games you can play. You choose that to play, so let me tell you, you cannot just get good at it. It doesn't work like that. You have to play it for a very, 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 very long time to be good at the game. You just have to. There is no quick way to get good at Ninja Gaiden. You have to really give it time and practice.
That's not the mindset in today's gamers, though.
Exactly.
You know, it's speed runs and let me get through it fast and move on to the next game. And, you know, that's the thing about Game Pass in a way. I mean, I've never got it, but to have all those choices...
I got it, don't ever get it.
Well, here's the thing about our video here. I mean, it's gone a little bit longer than we've usually wanted to on the NG Talks, but it's been fabulous because we've had so much insight on Ninja Gaiden 2 and you know, you guys' thoughts, but let's get a little on the personal side of Farnham. That's the other part of our NG Talk series. This is the talk part, you know, before it was the NG part. So you said you lived in Germany. Are you married or have kids, or you know, anything you want to share, anything you like to do outside of video games? Like I used to, you know, or I still play pool, but I used to ride motorcycles and JTB rock climbs and, you know, things like that. Is there anything
not with this
you can
thumb.
tell us? Oh yeah, well, not with the thumb right now, but anything you'd like to share about Farnham the Drunk? How you got your name? You know, something.
Yeah, I would love to. The name. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Diablo, the game franchise.
I've heard about it, but
I know Diablo. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically my name is a character from that game.
Oh, okay.
And like Diablo was probably my first action RPG. I mean, it probably was the first action RPG in general. From a top-down perspective, I mean, and I played that game as a kid, and Farnham the Drunk is a villager in that town, and he's basically how that game works. Everybody in that town has a purpose, except for Farnham, because he just sits there and is the drunkard of the town, basically, and you ignore him at first, because he doesn't give you any quests. He doesn't say anything important. He's basically just there to provide lore and atmosphere. And at first, you think, well, he's totally not important. I ignore him. But the more and more you progress in the game, he starts to talk about himself and about the village and about what happened. So you learn, at some point, you learn why he started to drink. That he went into the dungeon long before you to save the king's son that was kidnapped. And
well, don't give spoilers out, just in case. I mean,
no, this is just all backstory to the game.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
And he went down there to get the kid out, and he was basically led into a trap, and all of his friends got killed by a demon, and he was trapped there, and basically saw all of his friends get skinned and die.
Oh,
and
wow.
He could make it out as the only survivor, and just went mad. And drinking is like his only way out of the madness he encountered. And suddenly you start feeling bad for the guy. And like he went from a character I didn't care about to the character I cared the most about in that village, because he had such an impact on me as a kid, like the stories he told. And he doesn't talk a lot, but it's difficult to explain, but basically he left such a big impression on me that I just had to name myself after him. I just had to.
Wow, that's very cool. It's interesting to hear that story had such an effect when you were a kid. And you know, I don't know if you know, me with my age, you know, did Pac-Man or Galaga or Dig Dug, you know, did they have a story? You know, for me, it's like
I mean, it's different. Those games were like back in that times, like that didn't exist. Like people wouldn't even think about a game with a story. That was ridiculous. Like, a story in a game? Are you crazy? Like, why?
Like the arcade era was about getting, you know, quarters or 20p's out of you. You know, it wasn't about giving you a story.
I'll just say that
exactly. It was a score thing.
Yeah. Well, then that's why I've always kind of focused on score, and especially with Ninja Gaiden Black. You know, I've said that over the years. You know, back then it wasn't, you know, how was the game or whatever. It's like, where did you end up on the top score? Were you in the top 3 or you know, top 10 or top 5, whatever it had? Yeah. Where were you there? And that's where I kind of got that. What about other things that you like to do other than video games? I mean, are you a big movie buff or?
I mean, I love movies just as much as the next guy, but I wouldn't say that I'm a movie fanatic. Like, I watch a movie now and then.
Right.
I'm more of I watch movies that I already know. I'm that kind of guy.
Oh yeah.
Like, give me an Indiana Jones movie any time of the day, and I'm gonna watch it.
Right.
You know. But I'm a really passionate cook. I love cooking.
What about travel?
I hate traveling.
Oh, wow.
I'm no traveler. Like, I don't care about anything that's far away. Like, the only reason for me to travel is to see my family, because I'm natively Greek, but I live in Germany. My parents were immigrants, and we had a restaurant, like, for all my life that I can remember, my parents had a Greek restaurant. And I think that's also the reason why I'm so passionate about cooking, because I was just looking over my mom's shoulder like all the time, and I wanted to know how she makes that good stuff that I love so much. So I'm really passionate about that. But when I travel to Greece to visit my family. That's as far as I go.
Are you the main cook in the family then?
Oh yeah, like my wife loves my cooking, so I have to, but I want to as well.
Right.
I say my wife, but we're not actually married. But we've been living together for such a long time, and we both don't really believe in that whole we're married on paper thing. Like, it's kind of pointless. So I say my wife just because it's easier. Just say that. But we're not actually married. I don't have kids, and I don't want to.
Right. I'm the same way. I mean, I didn't have kids, and Shelly and I didn't want to, so I can understand that.
Yeah. It's for many reasons, like for personal reasons as well as for ethical reasons.
Right. What about, so cooking and video games, and what game do you, like, in today's world, are you looking forward to playing, or are you just going to be on NG2 and
now you're asking me the questions. Like, I'm a big indie game guy, and I'm a big I have a lot of games that I'm waiting for right now that I'm not even sure if they will ever release. But I can tell you a few definitely. I don't know if you guys know Joy Masher. It's an indie development team. It's from Brazil actually, and they make such fun games as Odelus. Do you guys know Odelus?
That rings a bell, but I'm not actually.
Do you know Blazing Chrome? It's a run and gun Contra style.
No, but now I'm immediately interested in it because I love Contra style games.
It is basically like Contra Hardcore, but better.
Okay.
And it released like a year ago, 2 years ago. I love that game. I play it on stream quite often.
What systems is that on?
Blazing Chrome, it's called. Yeah. It's made like an 80s arcade game, and you even have like these screen filters to actually turn it into a CRT screen and stuff like. It's brilliant.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
And I play a lot of those, and those guys do a lot of old school retro games. Like, their slogan is "We know retro," and they absolutely do. Like, look up Joy Masher. Joy Masher, it's probably the best indie studio I've encountered in the last 5 years.
Right.
And you absolutely have to check their games. Another one that I'm waiting for right now is it's called Bushiden, and it's a Metroidvania where you play a cyborg ninja. And it is the pixel art in that game is absolutely magnificent. It's made in a 16-bit style, and JTB, you gotta check that out, because if you like side scrollers at all. This game reminded me so much of NGB in its movement and combat. It's ridiculous.
I'm literally looking up Blazing Chrome right now, and that looks right up my street.
Yeah, play Blazing Chrome. I can so recommend that. Yeah. And it has so much content that you are not like thinking about. It has a reverse mode where you play the whole game in reverse, for example. It has a boss rush mode. It has melee characters that you can unlock, and one of them is a ninja. And I absolutely call him Raijin Hayabusa because he's absolutely inspired by Ryu.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and I'm going to have to check that game out.
You will love that game.
What platform is that on?
On everything. I play it on PS4, but it's on everything.
Ah, nice.
What's your console of choice?
My console of choice? I don't really have a choice. I play everything, and I try to own as much as I can. It's expensive, so I can't own everything.
Right.
But I mean, if I could choose, I would choose to play everything on PC.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because PC is just the best. Like, fuck consoles. I'm sorry, but consoles are fucking garbage. I hate consoles. They are restrictive pieces of fucking shit. Sorry that I have to say it like that, but no, I'm not a fan of consoles at all. But I have to use them, so I do.
Wow, okay. Tell us how you really feel. What about, did you do any of the forums? Did you ever hear of Iberians or GameFAQs?
I know of Iberians only of you guys. Like, I listen to a lot of your videos, and I'm interested in the history of NG and the forums and the players from back then. And I find it really fascinating, and it interests me a lot. And but I never knew Iberians by myself. Like most of my lifetime, I didn't even have internet, so I didn't know about all of that stuff. And I'm on in NG Realm, as you guys know.
How did you find that?
From JayTB, basically.
Oh, okay.
Like him talking about it.
Yeah.
And
forums are kind of a bit old hat these days.
I love NG Realm. Like I really wish more people would use it, because it's such a nice platform for not only to engage with other people that love the same thing you do, but also for archiving all of the stuff we do.
That's what I love about forums, and it's what I hate about Discord. Like Discord is great for like sort of stuff like this,
immediate stuff. Yeah.
But like whenever because I was going to look into Bayonetta speedrunning, funnily enough, earlier this year, and I looked at the Discord and I thought, where do I find like how they do this thing here? Like, where is this? Like, you know, and maybe maybe there is an element of that where like, you know, I've like there's a gap between like mine and Al's age, but I think in general, like if you're over 30 now and like you've been doing this since like, you know, the Xbox era, I feel like people definitely do think you're a bit of a dinosaur, and I feel like, I don't get me wrong, I agree, I am, but I still would argue that a forum is better for like archiving info, because you can have a thread that's like stickied with a video in it, boom, you're right there.
100% agree. Like I can find threads that are 10 years old, and I'm like, damn, thank God this information is still there. Right. And I absolutely agree. I urge everybody who loves NG to go to NG Realm and make a profile and absolutely read through everything on that site. It's an accumulation of knowledge. It's absolutely insane. Like I'm still every day on that site reading stuff, just randomly reading stuff, and I'm so delighted by all the people there. It's fantastic. Visit NG Realm. It's the place to be if you love NG, and not only NG.
Yeah, I say it's a great forum there. Like the only thing I will say is like it's just in case of full disclosure, like I do own the forum now, so like, you know, there's zero tolerance.
I didn't even know that. To be honest, really? I thought you were just a mod.
No. Like Dark Azuki was the original guy who made Ninja Archives. But he it's actually longer ago than I think now. Probably 3 years ago now, I think.
Okay, I didn't even know that forum existed 3 years ago.
Because when Iberians went down, he made Ninja Archives, and then we used that for years. Yeah. And then, but then like Dark Azuki wanted Ninja Archives like for his own thing. But from the get-go, excuse me, he made sure like it was super easy to migrate because he knew that day was coming, basically, where, you know, he was going to do that. So when that came to be, like there was a thread on the forum about it. I said, you know, look, like I'll do whatever needs to be done. Fortunately, we're in a point now where like web hosting is super cheap for like a text forum. It's virtually nothing. And like, you know, he's the brains behind that whole thing. You know, I take zero credit for that. I went on a call with him on Discord. He set it up in like 5 minutes and just did everything. It was like, wow. Yeah. Whereas I was looking at that and thinking, thank God you
what a hero.
Yeah, because I have no idea about this stuff.
Yeah, me neither. I had no clue at all.
Yeah, but that's the one thing. That's the kind of the bonus of the forum, I guess. It's a smaller thing. Like there's just a zero tolerance on douchebags. You know, if you're if you're that way inclined,
you're gonna come in and argue. You know, it's not going. Now there's nothing wrong with trying to get your point across, but if you're gonna name call and things like that, you know, we don't care for that.
Yeah. I think the worst is when you talk to someone and you realize you're actually hurting their feelings with your opinion. And that's when you know you should just stop talking right there and then. Like, if somebody gets hurt in their personal feelings because you don't like something they like, then you know there's no point in talking to that person anymore.
Yeah.
Well, again, I like to think that all of us could get along somehow or try to find some kind of common ground, especially over, a video game or something that we do on the forum. Political opinions or religious opinions or whatever. I mean, that's something we definitely try to stay through. I think maybe the biggest, I don't want to say argument, but, it's like, what movie or TV series did you like? And it's, oh my God, that one was awful. How could you watch that? It's or NGB is so much better than NG2, and it's like, oh my God, blasphemy.
Yeah, but I feel like it's okay to say that stuff as long as you don't get personal. Like, every time I talk about Sigma 2, and I really, really, really hate Sigma 2, like with a passion. And
worse than consoles? I mean, your console spiel was pretty powerful. Do you hate Sigma 2 worse than you hate consoles? Just to put it in perspective.
I think that there's not a lot of things in this world I hate more than Sigma 2. Like, I would have to go into the real world to, like, the only thing I hate more than Sigma 2 is, like, human behavior. Like, that's the only thing I hate more than Sigma 2. And it's funny because those two combine sometimes. Because every time I talk about, and I talk about it on my stream, I don't go, like, to other people's streams and, like, bash the game they're playing. Like, that's stupid. Why would I ever do that? But on my stream, I of course talk about what I want to talk, and I have people there sometimes that are like, that immediately get really, really personal because I don't like the game they like, and I'm like, dude, chill. I'm not criticizing the man playing the game. I'm criticizing the game. Right. You have nothing to do with that. Why are you so angry? Like, if you tell me you hate NG2, I'm like, all right, what the fuck do I care what you like? So I don't get that, why people get angry sometimes, because they think I'm actually insulting them, but I'm not. I'm insulting the game, not you.
Right.
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like... Sorry, Al.
No, I was just going to say, go ahead, JTB, because we're going to wrap this up here in a second.
Yeah, I think, this is an interesting topic, and it's why this year especially, why I stepped back from so much stuff, because for some reason nowadays, I feel like so much of what people do is they sort of make their identity. And I think, if you don't like Star Wars, you're somehow like not cultured or something. Or like, if you don't like,
tiring.
Yeah, if you like DC but you don't like Marvel, you must there must be a deep reason for this in your psyche. And you're like, no, I just kind of don't like. You know what I mean? It's like, sort of like healthy apathy almost doesn't exist anymore.
Yes,
like
oh man, I agree so much.
Yeah, it's like more like I sometimes people think like I'm more talking like in real life, not kind of on forums and that. But like I've never been like a big Marvel guy, like the movies, and but people like cannot understand it. I'm like, I'm not saying they're bad. Like they're just not really my thing. Like
even if you were saying they're bad, what do they like? You are not diminishing their fun by not liking it.
Exactly. And like there are Marvel movies that I love. I was talking about this with a friend the other day, funnily enough. Like Iron Man 1, Captain America 2, and Infinity War, I would say are like legitimately like superb movies. Like they are fantastic. So it's not like I have this agenda, but I feel like now, as I said, like people just seem to they hold everything they like as part of their personality and what defines them. And I think like, you can like something and that have no bearing on that note. I'm really looking forward to playing YaiBA because Farnham has like spoken really highly of it, and I think that's it's cool that like people could, but like most people will be like, oh, YaiBA's not even worth playing because of blah 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 blah. I think
next time somebody bashes YaiBA, ask him if he actually played it.
Yeah, that's another.
You will probably get a no as an answer.
Yeah, like people just sort of hop on the bandwagon.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, like this game is trash. Have you played it?" No. He's like, "Well, when I was playing, it's like the Master Collection on YouTube. The amount of people that would be like, "Oh, Sigma's way better than Black," or vice versa.
Yeah.
and they've only played one. Like, they haven't played the game they're saying it's better than.
I had the same conversation recently, actually, yeah.
It's just, it's baffling. And again, I don't know if that is a recent thing, or is it just the internet that's...
Oh, no, it's always been like that, and it's with everything, not only with games or movies, or...
Yeah.
It's basically humans and everything they like. You can go to any place with that. Like, it's movies, it's games, it's...
Pineapple
religion,
on pizza.
it's everything. It's everything. Like, as soon as somebody doesn't agree with you, it's on a personal level, and that's what I dislike, and I can't have that. Like, if I encounter people like that in my stream, I straight up ban them. I don't even answer anymore.
Yeah, I admit I'm the same. I've been like that for a while. It's like, you know, if you just have sort of a, like, you know, almost like, you know, what's the word, like a dictatorship sort of view. It's like, nah, dude, just this isn't the stream for you. Peace.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
One question before we wrap up, because I wanted to ask this, and I forgot before. We were talking about the combo system of NG2 before a little bit, and I wanted to ask you something, JayTB, because I think about it a lot, and I don't know what is actually happening in games. So maybe you can help me there. So sometimes, like when you're trying to build up a combo in NG2, you know when it just suddenly just breaks for no reason.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
why? Like, you know exactly what I mean. Like, why is that happening? Like, is there... Like, I can't see anything. Like, I know the combo breaks when you block, for example.
Yeah.
Or the combo breaks when you get hit, for example. But sometimes, and it's not really rare, it's like happens all the time.
Yeah.
The combo just breaks in the middle of the combo, and I don't know what's happening.
That's something that I've thought about as well, and I wish I knew.
Oh man,
that drives me.
I thought you had the magic answer for me now.
That drives me crazy.
Oh, man.
In survival, because you know when you're playing survival and like you want to manipulate your combo, like sometimes you'll be at like a 19 hit combo.
Yeah.
And you're right. Okay, 0. What? Like,
why?
I had theories on it. I'm thinking maybe if an attack whiffs in a certain property, it might kill your combo. Or
I also thought that, but sometimes I have the combo up there, and I'm just dodging around for like 10 seconds, and the combo stays up there.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
And I also noticed that a fireball, like if you do Inferno, as long as the ninja are burning, your combo stays up there.
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because one thing I've noticed from doing that recent run, me and Al are doing commentary for in NGB, is your combo, and this is something I do want to time for the higher difficulties. Your combo definitely seems to last longer, like your combo window, the higher your combo is. Because if you're at like a single hit digit combo, you can do something like wind run shuriken on landing, and by the time you charge a UT, your combo will like zero out. Whereas if you're at like a 50 hit combo, it will stay up. Like you'll actually be able to do that.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Like maybe there's some like strands of that in NG2 somehow. I don't know.
I was hoping for a brilliant answer.
I wish I knew. It's one of those things.
All
where,
right, so we have no clue then.
It's like the flying swallow on Alma. You know, every time someone asks me that, I'm like, dude, if you figure that out, let us know.
You gotta do that frame perfect to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with Awakened Alma too. You know, you can go 20 times in a row and miss, and then knock her down 6 times in a row. So
yeah, that's what Unwary would tell you. Just do it frame perfect.
I will say though, on that note, and this is because I want more people to try it, so there's more. But I did start doing manual jumps on that flying swallow, and I'm knocking her down way more with those. So if anyone's
I saw you talking about
like,
that in your stream actually, but I haven't tried it myself.
Yeah, like definitely give that a go, because it definitely seems to make a difference. Why? Who knows? But
who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I know you'd said a while ago that now I'm finally asking the questions. Well, the reason I waited till the very end is because y'all brought up a lot of great points about what was going on with your gameplay in G2, and I surely didn't want to interrupt all of that. I think people are going to hear the first part of this and just really have a new perspective on the game that I know I didn't understand until we did this. So I'm glad you decided to do NG2.
I hope
And,
so.
Yeah, I hope
thanks
so,
for
yeah.
doing that. And I appreciate you, answering some of the personal questions. It's always good. Like I said, the talk side of this is to hear more about the gamer, the personal side. So I guess I'll end on this question. What's for dinner tonight?
Ooh, what's for dinner tonight? It's do you know what Spätzle are?
No.
No, I don't
It's
even-
basically a type of southern German egg noodle,
Uh-huh.
and just a simple dish with those egg noodles and just some vegetables in a just basically a fried noodle dish. But it's difficult to explain. They are like really thick boiled egg noodles, and
Okay.
you know like how you do in the US like mac and cheese.
Right.
In Germany we have exactly the same dish, but we do it with those egg noodles.
So mac and egg noodles, kind of, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically noodles
Or-
and vegetables in a
yeah,
pan,
yeah.
fried, nothing special, simple
Yeah.
and
Do
tasty.
what any type of certain meat, or I know from Greek.
No meat today. I'm
Okay.
trying to cut down on the meat actually.
Uh-huh.
I stopped smoking about a year ago. I was like a heavy smoker for 15 years,
Oh wow. Uh-huh.
and I'm not getting younger, so
Right.
I stopped smoking like a year ago, and I try to cut down on the meat because I'm a big meat lover,
Right.
and
right.
it's difficult, but I'm doing my best. So no meat for me today.
Yeah, that would be hard for me. I remember when I met with Godfather, and he was telling me about the poutine, and I'm like, well, I got to have something with meat in it. It's it's just kind of an American thing. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm Greek, so I absolutely love meat.
exactly. You probably have a little more variety. Here it's over like chicken and hamburger type meat or steak. Chicken and steak mainly, but over there,
Yeah.
I'm sure you get a lot of different kinds.
Oh yeah.
Any final things, JTB, or any final questions you want to ask Farnham, or?
No, not really. I did want to ask one thing actually. I just thought because you mentioned NG and like you say you hate Sigma 2. What made you do that handicap run on Sigma 2, even though you hate the game so much? Because that handicap run is
to-
ridiculous.
Just to prove a point.
Oh, okay.
I
What
did
was-
it just to prove, because I was in talk with Sigma 2 players, and we were arguing, and I was arguing that game is, in comparison, it's just piss easy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Oh no, man, it's like really hard. Like grabs kill you in one hit." And I was like, "You know what? Just stop talking." And I just did that run, like just to prove a point that run would be impossible in NG2. Like you can't even like even one more restriction than no damage is probably impossible in NG2.
Yeah.
Like you have to use everything, and Sigma 2 is so easy that you can basically ignore everything that game gives you and still no damage it.
Yeah.
And it was just to prove that point. I really dislike that game, and I will never play it again.
Is there a playlist? Because I can link that in the description.
Oh yes,
So people can see.
I have playlists of all of my challenge runs on my YouTube.
And I'll link your YouTube channel too. But it's and your YouTube and Twitch.
I appreciate it.
Farnham the Drunk.
Yeah, it's just Farnham the Drunk.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, if you just type in Ninja Gaiden and my name, you will probably find something.
Right.
I have
nice.
so many challenge runs.
Right. Okay. Well, look. I really appreciate you doing this. It went a little over than what we've talked about, but I
Yeah,
think it's
a little bit.
That's
it's
what
been
we
worth
do.
it. Yeah, I mean
what
that's
we
what we
do.
do. It's
Yeah.
but I think the info that you gave at the beginning that both of y'all were able to provide to non-NG2 players, I think is exceptional. I enjoy hearing the personal side. I'm sorry you don't like consoles.
I mean,
but,
but
other than that,
came
you
off
know,
a little bit too drastic. But I mean, I'm nostalgic for retro consoles,
right, okay.
but I still play the games on PC. Like I'm not turning on my NES. Why would I? I have emulators for everything. Why ever
Right.
turn on that piece of shit again? But I am very nostalgic for consoles. It's not like I have a lot of consoles before me right now. But I mean, if I could change one thing about my setup, is having everything on PC. It's just better.
right.
Yeah, that's been my kind of gaming wish like forever.
Yeah.
Basically, is just
Just PC.
Just if
I guess,
everything can be on it, it'd be great.
I never got into the PC game. I tried it with Doom and some of the other games that came out and played some GTA or something. And I guess growing up in the arcade and then the Atari 2600 and a couple things like that, and then finally Xbox and PlayStation, I just never got the appeal of the PC. So it would I would never say that they're the PC's awful or whatever, but I just it's just not my gig. But well, look, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks so much for having me. It was so much fun, and it was actually an honor for me to finally talk to you guys. Like, I know your voices, like, for years I listened to you guys, like, and actually talking to you is it's been fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Well, we appreciate it too, and sharing your knowledge, and I think we want to get other people to
yeah, we're very approachable. Like,
yeah.
if anyone else wants to come on, like, you can ask. You don't. There's no like prerequisite.
Oh, I think that everybody would love this. Like, everybody that plays or doesn't play NG, like, even just knowing you guys, everybody would love this. I think everybody you would ask would actually love to do this.
Yeah.
Well, I think. Well, you'd be surprised. I've actually have asked a couple people, and they're like, I don't want to, my gameplay's not very good. And I said, look, that doesn't matter. It's all about fellowship and talking and hanging out and having a good time. And I'd be nervous in front of you and JTB. It's like, were you nervous at all? Or maybe you were at first and not at the end?
I was, but not because you guys, just because of, like, I don't know if you know what I mean, but all of this planned thing, this is what makes me nervous. Like, actually having to be there at a specific time, and you have to talk for this and that, and like, that's what makes me nervous. Not you guys, actually. It's like the
awesome.
thing itself. Like, maybe someone has expectations of what we're gonna talk about, or stuff like that. That's what makes me. But like 2 minutes into it, that was gone.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
I think, I think maybe that's like me and Al. I know we've talked about that. Like, I guess we're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
Like, we have kind of our rhythm and that, and like what we fall into. So.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it, and thank you so much for doing this. I guess that's it, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Any final words from y'all?
I want to thank Farnham for coming on, and it was a great time, and I can't like stress enough, like, if you want to come on one of these, like, just post a comment, like,
let us know.
Yeah.
Thanks again, and everybody should play more NG.
Totally agreed.
Okay,
man. Everyone, y'all have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.
See you guys.
Stay safe, everybody. Peace.